Hello everybody, this is Roller from Winter Bros. In this video segment for Scripting Made Simple, we're going to cover conditional statements. This is Volume 2, Module 4. The first statement we're going to introduce you to is the if-else. And for the if-else statement, here's actually the breakdown. So basically you actually have this command statement if, and then in parentheses you're going to have a condition that you say, and if this condition is met, then of course within curly braces here you're going to say do something. And remember earlier we talked about blocking your coding. So here's how it's done. You can have a single command in here, or you can have multiple commands separated by semicolons, or returns if you want to spread it out for readability down the line, which we'll show you shortly. And then you can finish it with that. But however, if this condition is not met and you want something else to happen, you would add the else statement, and then of course inside curly braces one more commands again for doing something else if the condition is not met. So we'll go to Daz Studio and we'll show you an example of this. You can see here in Daz Studio we've set it up with a variable called age number 28, and so we spaced it downward. You could do it all in a single line, but we spaced it downward for readability. And actually, on we recommend that you when you have like an if and else or other conditional and breakdown statements, that you tab them in for more readability. So here we got the first comparison. So we got the if, of course it's all small letters, and we're going to look at in my age and see if it's greater than or equal to 21. And if it is, this is the line 3 would be executed. This is the statements it would be. And like, of course, if you wanted multiple statements, you would, of course, you could break this down and put like some returns in there, and then you can add more statements down, or you could have kept them within the curly braces with separated by semicolons. So if it is greater than or equal to 21, we got print here. You are old enough for a cold beer. And if it isn't, we have an else statement, which we didn't need. But we wanted to. So now we have if it's not met, if it's not greater than or equal to 21 up here, then we're going to have print, sorry, but you are not old enough. So we'll go ahead and execute it. You can go to hit F5, or you can do File, Run Script at the bottom there. So we'll hit the F5 and see what happens. Okay, just a moment. We got a parsing error in line 4 we got to find. Sorry about it. Turned out it didn't like the single quotes in the print statement, so we changed them to double quotes for line 4. Let's run it again. Looks like it's got the same parsing error for line 7. Hang on a second. Oh, I believe this is because we might have some hidden characters in there possibly. Let me run through here with the cursor. Oh, there it was. There was a hidden character. We're going to show you that later for parsing errors. And now it should actually run. Those kind of things get tricky. Okay, now we got that corrected. So we will run it one more time. Sorry about that. We'll hit F5 to run it. And there you go. The script runs, and what our output is, you are old enough for a cold beer because it did meet the condition of greater than or equal to 21. And you can test that by changing this. Let's change the initial variable to 18 and run it again to see what happens there. And of course, that doesn't meet the condition of greater than or equal to 21, so it does the else statement, which is sorry, you are not old enough for a beer. Okay, so that's how we worked out the that's how the if else works if you want to use that for your conditionals within your coding. And here again we went ahead and showed you that complete script. Of course, here for the if part we did spread it out a little bit, and for the else part we left it consolidated. So now we'll move on to the next one, which is going to be the switch case. So for the switch case, it's a little more difficult conditional way of programming, but the keywords in it are going to be the switch and case. So basically you'd write it with the switch statement, and then inside parentheses you're going to have an expression that you want to evaluate, and then of course you're going to have curly braces from beginning to end to enclose all the cases. So then you'll have for case and a value that if this expression is equal to this value, you want something done. Then you'll put this word for break, which means it's the end of this case evaluation, and you can go on and on and on to the last case value, whichever you want to use. Do something for that one and break. And if none of the cases are met for the expression, then you can use this default word to say, well, if nothing else meet, do this instead. You don't have to have the default in there. And then of course you'll end it with the break too. So each case and the defaults end with a break to say that that's the stuff to do. So we'll go to Daz Studio now and we'll show you how this works. So what we've done here in Daz Studio is we made up a day of the week script so that we can have a number from 1 to 7. And of course we can determine what word to use for that day of the week. Now you can use any day as a starting day of the week. We just chose Sunday here for day 1, but you could choose anything you want. So you can see here first we set up a variable, end day of week is equal to 3. Then our switch word statement here, and the expression is end day of the week. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So basically case 1 means if end day of the week equals 1, then do these commands between the case and the break statements. You don't have to encapsulate these with the curly braces. The case and the break do the encapsulating to block that code together. And you go on and on and on all the way through, and we went all the way through the end of the week, the 7th day. And then of course we put a default in here, which if you accidentally put a 0 or an 8 or some case number that doesn't match for the day of the week, we put no match found. So we'll go ahead and run this script so you can see what happens here at the bottom. And since we did use end day of the week is 3 at the top, it says here it was 3 and Tuesday. We printed both of those. So you can see up here we printed the end day of the week of, let's see, number 3, case 3, and it said Tuesday. So let's go ahead and change that to like, let's say this you accidentally used 8, and we'll run that. And if you look at the bottom, there was no case for 8, so went to the default, and 8 said no match found is what we had in the print statement up here. There it is, sorry. Okay, and then of course, if you change it to any other one of the week, day of the week, let's just pick 7 and run it again. Of course, you can see down at the bottom here, 7 equals Saturday in the switch case statement coding. So this is how you would use it. Now, this is just strictly a simple day of the week example. You can use it for any other types of cases that you want to use. So we will quickly return here to the actual format of the switch case statement, and here it is again for you to preview. And don't forget, it's going to be actually 4 words that you can use for the statements: switch, case, break for each case. There's a default. Of course, it comes with a break too. That concludes this segment on conditional statements. Then we covered the if-else, and of course we covered also the switch case. We hope you learned from it. If you need to, you can always refer back to the PDF copy for clear explanations, whatever meets your learning style.